Good evening. My name is Bill Wohlgemuth, the President of the Board of Directors of the Pro-Life Union of Greater Philadelphia. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I welcome you to the 2013 Stand Up for Life Dinner. Tonight we honor Eileen Stone, Betty and Dr. Les Ruppersberger, and David Sal. I'm sure when you hear their stories, you will agree that we are blessed to have them as part of our movement.
St. Andrew Parish is a wonderful parish. It's a huge parish. We're the largest parish in the Archdiocese. So there are many things going on here. Many people to serve in ministry, many situations and opportunities and challenges as well that go along with it. And for a pastor to have someone like Eileen to take care of a very important part of our ministry and our mission here without giving me any headaches about it would be an invaluable gift to the parish and to me as a pastor. Eileen has been very good with working with me and with the other priests and the other staff members of the parish. And she doesn't get in the way of anything. She just really kind of filters in with everything else that we're doing. And she presents a great image of someone who's dedicated to not only practicing her faith with her wonderful family, but also of helping other people to appreciate the gospel of life in their lives as well. Yeah, well, Eileen is certainly with Stu and with the boys, Brian and Kevin, an outstanding example of what a good Catholic family is. And they're certainly always at Mass on Sunday. And they're always there as a family. Eileen would be a person that you might not even notice because she's always she's very laid back and very, I would say even shy, and yet at the same time very effective. She's a type of person who would never put herself out in the forefront as someone to pay attention to or to notice, but rather someone who really just always was there to do the job, and she did it well. She had the ability to get many people involved in cooperating with her, and just a very peaceful, calm, and wonderful, faith-filled lady. Well, Eileen is certainly on top of all of the opportunities to proclaim life and all of the programs that are available, and she takes them very earnestly and uses much energy to do these programs, and involves a lot of people in the parish. She's constantly helping people to remember to be reminded of the responsibility that we all have to protect life, and she certainly has done very much to encourage that, not only for me but also for all of the people in the parish.
Pro-life is just the greatest of God's works. You know, without life, we don't have anything, and it really is. It's the greatest Holocaust right now that's going on, and I think God has His hand on this work. I had read something a priest said, and I think it might have been Father Frank Pavone. He said that abortion and contraception bore the same fruit, and that was no children. And that hit me because I was born Catholic, but I had been away from the faith, and I came back a little too late, and I have 2 children. And, you know, I just, I had not had an abortion, but I finally saw myself in this arena. And I just was attracted to that. And so, you know, the rest is history, I guess. I just felt called by God, and I was blessed so much by leading this ministry. Like all things that you do for God, the blessings are greater than anything that you could put out. Monsignor Picard has done an amazing job in his leadership to make it feel very close and very warm, and he has always made Respect Life a priority of the ministries at St. Andrews. So it's been an easy job. He's really done my work, or the work of rallying the parish and getting people involved with Respect Life. And we have a great circle of pro-lifers that go to the dinner every year, go to the March for Life, pray down at the center, volunteer at the Crisis Pregnancy Center. We pray at the center for a lot of different reasons. We pray for all the people that have been involved in abortion, our legislators, down to our doctors. We're there to witness to the moms that are going in. And you know, sometimes you see every once in a great while a mom walk out and change her mind. It's rare, but it happens. But you hear stories about women later saying 5 years down the line, you know, my son's 5 years old or he's 8 years old and he's here because I saw you out here praying. And so we don't know till we get to heaven the difference we make. But the greatest witness I've seen out there are the families that bring young children. My boys, when they were young, used to bribe them with a breakfast at the diner around the corner, and we used to take them there. And I think, if I was abortion-minded and I was really convinced even of having an abortion, I don't really have to think twice about that, seeing those young people there, even if I didn't understand that, because they're peaceful, they're prayerful, they're not intrusive. They're really just praying, and they're there for anyone who wants to come out and ask for help. Well, it was in 1973 when my sister was 8 years old. We were in an automobile accident, and she suffered a traumatic brain injury, a TBI. And she'd been living her whole life with this injury, but faring okay, living independently, when she had to have life-saving epilepsy surgery at the Cleveland Clinic. Her seizures were not responding to the anticonvulsant medication. So they had to operate, and they had to remove brain tissue, and after that she was unable to live independently and spent 2.5 years in a nursing home and 3 years in an assisted living, and she's 48 now. And I was called, you know, to help her. I mean, God just put me in that place where I was able, thanks be to God, to my family, to my husband and my boys, you know, stood by me and my sister. We have so much to learn from these people, so much. It's a blessing that we're all self-sufficient and we can take care of ourselves, but when we take care of someone else, we learn so much about ourselves. It was ironic that I was working for so many years in the parish ministry for the defenseless, the unborn, that God would have me call me and my own family to work for the defenseless, and that would be my sister.
Generation Life was formed to continue that, but to build a mountain of leaders, really to accept Pope John Paul II's challenge to young people to be leaders in the movement. Chastity is important because it will cut down on abortions. I think it's the solution to young people having abortion. If they can delay sexual activity until marriage, there won't really be a need for abortion. That's probably the basic level. I also think chastity is a virtue. It's like perseverance and courage and bravery and modesty. It's virtuous. It's a good way to live. It's a truthful way to live. I think for women, it preserves their integrity. It protects them. And I don't think young women today should give themselves to a young man before he will say to them, I will love you, honor you, and cherish you all the days of your life. So I first met David through Christina Barber, our national director. Christina saw the need to have a media and communications person. And so we met David out at the West Town office and talked about his background, what his talents were, and what he could contribute to the organization. I liked him immediately because of his huge smile. He had a very gentle, welcoming capable way. And of course, I liked him even more when I saw what he could do with the website, how he created the logo, how he highlights the team. And I thank the Pro-Life Union for selecting him this year for the Chastity Award because of his leadership in media and communication. But aside from that, because of the kind of person that he is.
I grew up in like an immigrant family in Philadelphia. I really didn't know too much, we never really taught about pro-life or any of this, so we kind of got lost into the culture. So I went to high school, and really during high school was a huge pivotal time. You're learning, you're figuring out like who you are, what do you believe, and I really didn't really understand pro-life. I understood you shouldn't hurt someone, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, and kind of grew to what many people think. I would never, if I ever found myself in that situation, I would never let my girlfriend or wife or whoever else, having the abortion. But I can't stop anyone else. So yeah, I went to Penn State. I began studying pre-med and really start learning more about the science behind, about life. But at the same time, was still very convinced that I would never let this happen, but there's a need in the world. There's a need for, what people say, the need for, and it's a necessary evil. So through many different experiences and different things, I was partying, I was studying, I was partying, I was studying, I was partying, and really it was just like, the hookup culture in college. I kind of really got lost in, and was really kind of hungry for something more. And thankfully, I met these great group of Catholics that just really changed my life a little bit. And so then I met Christina Barba, and then she convinced me to come to Philadelphia for a small little prayer vigil. So I was like, okay, that sounds great. And she's like, yeah, it'd be a small prayer vigil, and it'd be really wonderful, and you'll see all these great people. And we woke up, drove to King of Prussia, and there I was, watching people barricade themselves in front of a door of an abortion clinic. And that's when everything changed in my life. That's when the first time I saw nurses who did not want to do abortions. I saw women who felt like they had no choice with this. And at that moment, it hit me that this is actually not right. Abortion is wrong in any case. No one really wants it. It's not a necessary evil, it's just an evil. And so it just became a pivotal part of my life, and since then, my life has never been the same. Because of that moment, praying in front of the abortion clinic, an 18-year-old boy, I left never the same and wanted to dedicate the rest of my life protecting the life of the unborn and helping people understand the beauty of who they are. Obviously, I'm Asian, so that makes me good at technology. So here I am. So this is what my job is. I work with technology, I work with social media, I do graphic design, and it's all due to the fact that I'm Asian. So this message is attractive, so we want to make it look attractive as well. So that was one of the things that brought me into Generation Life, that I wanted to make it look like, our social media, like we're happy people. We are happy people. Show people that we are normal people living this life. Many times people say, like, we need to go to the streets to talk to the kids. That's where you meet them. This is where you encounter them. It's 2013. The streets is social media. The streets is Twitter. The streets is Facebook. And that's where Generation Life, this is where we're trying to interact with kids. And I've seen the impact. I've seen kids who email us in and just saying, like, thank you for that article, because of that article you wrote, has changed the way I saw myself as a man, how I have seen myself as a woman, has changed the way I've seen my girlfriend, my boyfriend, and understanding the beauty of our sexuality and the beauty of life. I tell this to tons of people, living a life of chastity, living a life protecting the unborn, you're not alone. There are people out there who believe in this message, who are living this message. There's times where you feel like you're the only one that wants to do this. There's no other options, but you're not alone. Working for the pro-life movement working for Generation Life, I tell my friends, I tell my family, there's no other place I'd rather be. There's no better place no better group I'd rather work for than a movement of young people who believe in this message. And so there's tons of different organizations out there who want to hire me, but I tell them I have the best job in the world. So I'm happy to be here 5 years and going.
So we met Betty and Les through St. Ignatius Parish. We joined the pre-Cana team that Betty and Les are in charge of. We joined as two people that were going to first be in charge of the food because we were completely intimidated by all the good work that they were doing with the young couples. I don't think Kathy and I ever thought that we really would have a whole lot to offer, but I think it was through Les and Betty's mentoring and tutoring and encouragement that we became comfortable and got to know them. We also took their natural family planning course, which as we got comfortable with them through pre-Cana, we started to almost become students of the pre-Cana seminars ourselves, I would say.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. We knew them as parishioners, I guess, for a while, and as my OB, Les was my doctor, so I knew him more on a professional level, and it was through doing the pre-Cana that I got to meet Betty, and then working with her at the center, and I love them.
I think as a man and as a business professional, to actually have somebody who's an example of putting everything on the line, not just in words, but in deeds, to be out in the workforce and just to be out in the world and to really have an example of someone that really took his personal life, his personal commitment, put everything on the line. I see in Les conviction that I'd like to find in myself. And I know in trying to find that conviction as I go through my career and raise my kids and have to work in the business world, that it is a significant challenge to do that and a significant sacrifice.
I love working with Betty on Fridays at the center. She is like so warm with the women, and she gives them such practical advice on just how to be a mother, or just how to take care of the kids' needs when they're sick, or stuff that, you know, you would think some women should naturally know and they don't, and it just rolls off her back, and she's so nurturing and warm. So I enjoy working with her.
To me, I guess if I had to really define it, it would be to actually see two people that really give of themselves, that really empty themselves. And again, on my journey, as I'm trying to figure out what that really means and what it means to really walk with Christ, I think they both have the real life example of what that means, to empty themselves and to give of themselves and to be bigger than who they are.
They truly have inspired me in just listening to the way they talk to the kids in the pre-Cana team, the way they speak so easily, and you know it's from their heart when they talk about choosing God first in your marriage, and that always be open to life and to walk in your faith.
So we dated for about 4 years, and we married in 1970. We're married 43 years.
Memorial Day 1970.
And we have 2 children, 2 incredible gifts from God. My first pregnancy ended in a tubal pregnancy, and it was, I had emergency surgery, and I was unable to get pregnant, and I was very upset about that, coming from a family of 9 children. And a couple of years after I had that surgery, I went to the doctor to have more surgery, and my doctor said my chances of pregnancy were practically none. And a couple months passed. he called me on the phone and asked us if we wanted to adopt a baby. And so our first son, our gift from God, was born, and we got a 2-day-old baby boy. So 2.5 years later, Les was in his residency, and we had a spontaneous conception, and I carried full term, and we have another glorious son, and God had a plan for us, and that was the end of our children. I really wanted more children. We wanted 4 children, and God gave us 4 children.
I was an adopted child and the oldest, and was kind of the caretaker of the family. We had a lot of, my mother had a lot of illness and a lot of problems, and I became kind of a surrogate caretaker, if you will, from a very young age. And I guess because of my adoption and because I always wanted more brothers and sisters, although I do have a younger sister who is biological to my parents, I was always interested in delivering babies and women's health care. So from high school, I knew I wanted to be an OBGYN. During my medical school training and my residency, I did a traditional, fully contraceptive practice and sterilizations, and did that for 21 years in my practice. Had gone to church, received the sacraments. Our kids grew up, we had them baptized, and as we moved around and grew in the practice and grew in our social lives and our personal lives, really didn't think much about what I was doing, had no previous concept of, had never heard of Humanae Vitae, even though I called myself Catholic and I was going to Mass on Sundays and receiving the sacraments, and my kids were going to Catholic school. I had no qualms about going to work every day and doing sterilizations and giving out contraception. So, a couple of months went by, and finally I get to Mass on Respect Life Sunday, October 3rd, 1999, and I hear Father Alan Ocon, who had just graduated from the seminary. He was ordained in June. This is October. A new assignment, his first priest assignment at St. Ignatius, 30 years old out of the seminary. Come and give a homily, and instead of standing behind the ambo, he walks down and he's marching up and down the aisle. And he's pounding in his fist and saying that euthanasia is wrong and abortion is wrong, and the root of this tree of evil is contraception, and his finger fell 6 inches from my nose. And he said, and contraception is wrong. And my 24-year-old son said to me, Dad, he's talking to you. The next day I walked into my practice. I told my partners that I would no longer be doing contraception or sterilizations. My partners had a meeting that week, Thursday night, and decided without me to reduce my salary by 1/3, and it was a take it or leave it deal. And so we decided that we would continue to do what we were doing and stay in the practice, and I'm going to start all over again. I had started the practice. So we put our house up for sale, we sold it, we downsized, we changed our lifestyle. We both became certified in natural family planning.
We never felt, I felt bad. I felt that there was something wrong, something evil, something powerful going on in his life that was making him conflicted all the time. And when he decided to give up contraception in his practice, our whole marriage changed. Our whole life changed. He became a gentler soul, and he was still him, but he was more approachable, and he could see the true meaning of life and what it was all about. And it wasn't about stuff anymore. I was happy to sell our house. I was happy to sell our cars and downsize because it didn't matter. The material things didn't matter. So it was fine with me. And we've actually had a richer, stronger marriage since then. And our greatest legacy as women, we have been given this gift from God to be a woman. John Paul II says that women are his crowning jewel. And our life is about bringing life into the world. And we, in this 2013, women have to realize that this isn't an inconvenience. This is not a burden. This is a gift. This is a responsibility.
For me, there's two issues as far as the contraception issue is concerned. The first one, from a physician's point of view, is that it is not women's health care. There is a plethora of literature talking about the side effects, the consequences, the cancers, the heartache, the blood clots, even deaths that are associated with hormonal and other types of contraceptives. It cures no disease. It does nothing good for anyone. And yet it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Even the very word doesn't mince any English meaning. Contraception means against life. And they don't even try to change the language. They just come right out and call it what it is because they don't care. Because Satan just twists the truth and says, well, you can have babies later, but you don't have to do it right now. And so where the contraception issue leads into abortion is that all contraceptives fail. And the mentality going into the marital act, whether you're married or not, is that if you don't want to have a baby and you conceive, well, I still don't want to have a baby, so the contraceptive didn't work, I'm going to get rid of it and I'm going to kill it. So before you even get to the abortion level, the contraception is the root of that tree. And although we all fight as pro-lifers against the abortion issue, and rightfully we should, to save babies, we really need to fight against the contraception issue because that is the root source of what leads to all these abortions. I would say that these invitations can sometimes be just a word or just a gesture. It may be something that you hear in church. It may not necessarily be someone who walks up to you and says, how about doing this? But the messages are constantly being sent by God all the time. We need to open our minds and our hearts to realize what we're doing as part of God's plan for why we're all here, and really hear these invitations and say yes, and stop just sitting in the back. The only reason that so many things like this are going on in our culture and in our society is because a lot of people who have been invited are sitting back and saying, that's not for me to do.
You know, I've been taught to serve others. And I enjoy that. Some women say, oh, I have to do all the work. No, it's serving others and helping others. This movement and the NFP movement need more women to help other women, to do the right thing, to understand what our purpose is here. And we are here to serve others and to help others and to help these men and women, because it's not just about the women, it's about the men, and help them to understand that this is our life. We have to make the most of it and to help others by doing that.
Congratulations to tonight's award winners, Eileen, Les and Betty, and David. You are wonderful examples of what it means to be pro-life in our community. You, along with many others in the room tonight, are working with the Pro-Life Union of Greater Philadelphia to build a culture of life. Thank you.
Eileen, on behalf of myself and the parishioners of St. Andrew and all of our staff, we want to extend a warm congratulations to you, and also a great amount of gratitude for the gift that you are to us and will continue to be for us. We are deeply thankful to God that He would have put you in our parish.
David, congratulations on this Chastity Award. I'm so happy the Pro-Life Union recognized your efforts. We love you on the board, and we want you to be with us for a very long time. God's blessings on you, David. Thank you.
Les and Betty, congratulations to both of you on this award. We love you guys, and you are so deserving of it. We couldn't think of two better people that this should go to.